Hi, thanks for coming to Green Bay Wacky. You are about to listen to the craziest podcast ever. Toxic people, toxic friends, and absolute insanity. Me, Fireman CV, and Cab7. Listen now. Smash that like button and subscribe. Live from 107.7, the Three Amigos podcast channel. We are live, and we've got Fireman CV, Cab7, and yours truly, Green Bay Wacky. Now, tonight, we've got a topic that I think everyone can relate to. We want to talk about toxic people. That's right, we're talking like nuclear waste. Nuclear toxic freaking people. Are you there? Is Cab7 there?
I'm here, and yeah, I'm ready to get down and dirty.
Down and dirty. Well, we're going to talk about toxic people. It could happen. And do
Okay.
we have Fireman CV? Do we have the live feed working?
Yes, I am here, Dave. I'm looking forward to this topic. I really am.
Did you call me Dave?
I apologize. Green Bay Wacky. Now
That's
you're going to have
better.
to cancel and edit that. My apologies. I'm sorry.
That's better. Okay, I just want to make
Better than
sure.
what I normally call you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about toxic people, people that are toxic to your life. Do you have anywhere to go to start this conversation off? Otherwise, I could, of course, easily feed something out to get it rolling.
Well, listen, I once watched a whale. Well, I watched it do the no-no.
The
We were on a
no-no.
fishing boat out in the Atlantic Ocean, and the other whales had no idea that this one whale had a blowhole from hell, but it was toxic. And
Wait. What does this have to do with toxic people? Fireman, can you jump in here?
Yeah, what I want to, well, there's I have to interject. I'm sorry, before I get back to your question, you're answering you, Dave. There's a reason why they call it a blowhole Cab7.
Not a blowhole, blowhole.
What?
Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay,
Oh,
look,
it's a
I'm the host
blowhole.
here. We
Okay,
got to get
okay.
this back on track. The ship is sinking. Toxic people.
That's what happened when the whale blew its hole.
A whale is
Yeah, it
not
was
a
toxic.
person.
Yeah, but it's very toxic, that hoe. If you don't have the right hoe, it can become very, very toxic, and it can kill off the other hoes.
Absolutely. I agree.
Okay, wait. So you're telling me we're going to talk to the audience about toxic whale holes.
No, I'm using that as an example.
Well, give me the analogy. How does a person have a blowhole?
Oh, geez, if you only knew. Have you ever heard of a
What?
pie hole? Listen, have you ever heard of a pie hole?
Oh my goodness.
What comes out of a pie hole? Toxicity, just like a whale.
Okay, so
But
this is going to be
their hoe is a lot bigger.
Listen,
okay.
you've heard people use the expression, please shut your pie hole. There's a reason why they use that
Exactly.
expression.
Okay,
because
now wait.
toxic
I
things
think I can
come
roll.
out of
No,
it.
I think I can roll with this. Toxic people, the toxicity comes out of our mouth.
There you go.
Unless we're doing Morse code, or something like that.
I think
No,
he's
it comes out of our pie hole.
Okay, I can roll with this. So the
Okay.
toxicity comes out of our pie hole. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let me ask you this. Have you ever met someone that is toxic for your life?
Anyone that smells like ham.
Well, it's better
Or
than a
sardine.
whale.
or sardines.
I like
Are we talking-
sardines.
Does,
What's
does
wrong?
this
Wait, hold on.
include my
What's wrong with
ex-wife?
sardines?
Does this include my ex-wife or not? No.
Well, that depends on your new wife. I don't know if she wants you talking about that.
I said
but-
ex-wife. Well, you asked if somebody was detrimental or something like that. I don't know.
Didn't you say that your ex-wife is living about 3 feet away from you?
Oh my goodness.
ex-wife?
Oh, no, that's your dead plant.
No,
Sorry about
she's
that.
800 miles away, and that's still too close.
Oh my
800
goodness.
miles.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting to ex-wives and whales with blowholes.
Right.
Exactly.
So, let's say you're someone that's just tuned into our podcast, and they're dealing with toxic people.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them? How should they handle a toxic person?
Well, I would go over to any big box store and get a big bucket of spackle, and I would just spackle their pie hole closed.
Or lots of duct tape. That has worked with me, and a little bit of rope.
So we're suggesting spackling and duct taping their pie hole shut.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now I can roll with that because, it stands to reason if you did spackle their mouth shut, they'd have to talk through their nose, and since there's no vocal cords in your nose, I could see that. I could see that. And the duct tape, I could definitely see that.
Right.
But what advice would you give to someone dealing with a toxic person that, let's say they don't have any spackle, they don't have any duct tape, they find themselves in a situation where they're getting social media texts, on Twitter, Facebook, all that. How would they deal with that toxic person? Should I send
I
them
would
to
watch I would watch several episodes of MacGyver because that guy could pull shit out of his own ass.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
so MacGyver could be the solution?
Like exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay, so MacGyver could help you solve your toxic people. Now, okay, I can roll with this, but now tell me this. How would you suggest using MacGyver to deal with your toxic? So let's say your boss at work is toxic. He yells at you all the time. He won't give you a raise, and now you've got at your disposals whales with blowholes, duct tape, spackle, and shutting the pie hole. What would you suggest?
I'm listening, Cab7. This is
Oh,
gonna
I didn't know who you were particularly talking
I
to.
didn't either, so I figured I'd let you answer,
Right.
Cab7.
Well, I didn't hand out numbers for you guys, so I guess I'll address you properly in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, we get confused rather easily.
Mo and Curly. I'll just refer to you as Mo and Curly. How is that?
Mo, which one's Mo?
That's true. Who feels more like a Mo?
I don't feel like either one of those famous singers.
Well, I do have the hair for Mo.
It's the Three Stooges. They're not singers.
Three Stooges, what's that?
Let's get back to the question here. Okay, I will make Cab7 will be Mo, and Fireman CV can be Curly.
I want to be Shemp.
Okay, I can
I
work
want
with
to
that.
be a balloon.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's forget the Mo and Curly analogy. That's not going to work. I'll address this to Cab7. You have a toxic boss at work. He's getting
Yes.
toxic with you. How do you deal with him?
Well, normally I don't show up at work because that's the best way not to deal with them. Just don't show up.
I can roll with that. That actually makes sense.
Exactly.
Do you actually work, though?
Well, that was just an analogy, wishing that I could work.
Well, I was just trying to present to the audience a real-life situation. If you didn't work, there'd be no real boss, and then the advice would be like null and void.
Well, I listen. I've got a blowhole at home. Okay, I've only had it for 3 months. I've got my own altar, and I put the blowhole up on my altar, and I bow down to it.
Is that
Okay?
a blow-up? Is that a blow-up doll?
We won't even go that distance, Dave. You know that I've got 14 of those. Okay?
Hey, I was told this was going to be PG. I've got a couple myself.
Exactly.
Are they blowhole dolls? Like you
I've got one that when you deflate it, it lights its own cigarette.
said? Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Let's.
So where do you get your patch kits to fix yours? Because I keep putting pinholes in mine.
Okay.
Oh,
okay,
actually,
okay,
for an
wait.
extra for an extra 14
No,
bucks.
time out. I'm going to address this to Fireman CV. Let's forget the blow up dolls. You obviously had blow up hose. Cab7. Okay, to Fireman CV, your boss is toxic. You're at work. He's toxic. What do you do?
Load up the firearms in the back of the car.
Oh my goodness, we can't say that. This is we can't say that. We can't say that here. I think you're referring to. I think you meant to say firecrackers for 4th of July celebration, right?
I've got a lot of Nerf guns. I like using my Nerf
Oh,
guns.
now I can roll with that. Now Nerf is acceptable.
It is non-lethal and it's upsetting. It likes I love hitting people with my Nerf guns. And they're fairly accurate. It's just enough to aggravate them.
Okay, what about Facebook? What about bullies on Facebook? Toxic bullies. I'll address this Cab7. Toxic bullies on Facebook.
Yeah, usually how I deal with that, just like things that I buy over at Kmart. Okay, I'll buy something at Kmart and keep the receipt and
Wait.
take it
Are
over.
you implying that Kmart still exists?
Oh yeah, it does in our neighborhood. But anyhow, I buy something from Kmart, get the receipt, and 4 years later go over to Walmart and try to return it.
Do you try to do that for a profit?
I have made about $4,000 so far doing that.
So you're implying Walmart returns everything.
They accept blowholes.
They even took my dirty diapers that I used.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna have to regain this podcast. It's gone somewhere in a different direction. Okay, let's forget that analogy. Okay, you're at the DMV. You're at the DMV, and the person won't give you a license. I think that would be toxic, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that's easy.
what would you do for them?
I'd load up the firearms in the back of the car,
No,
and
not the
I'd take,
Nerf guns again.
I mean the Nerf guns in the back of the car.
Well, listen, for $12, you can go over to Sears and Roebuck, and you get online, and they have a ID driver's license copy machine for $12.
So now
You
I
take
can
a
go with
picture of your
this.
own self. You take a picture of your own self. It does everything else for you.
I can go with
Listen,
this. So your suggestion for the toxic DMV person is basically a phony ID.
is there
Yes.
anything? Is there such a thing as someone at the RMV that is not toxic?
Did you just say RMV?
The RMV.
Regis- Registry of Motor Vehicles, Department of Motor Vehicles, whatever they call it now.
Oh, that's
Isn't
right.
that up
You're
in
wait,
Canada?
that's right. You're an East Ender. That's right. You're an East
Yeah,
Ender.
I don't know what they call it. That place where you go to register your vehicles
Okay.
Oh.
Okay,
with their wonderful, funny, smiling faces.
let's
Yeah,
forget
but
the
when you
DMV.
step into one of those places, when you know there's more than 3 cars in the parking lot, you know that place is packed.
Oh
Okay, I
yeah.
don't think the viewers are going to get it here from the DMV. That was a bad analogy. Let's go to Twitter. Let's say toxic person on Twitter. They're just hounding you all day long, and you can't get away from them. How do you deal with them? Cab7.
Well, usually I steal all of Donald Trump's tweets and just throw them back at that person.
So you're a hacker.
Well, no, I take all of Donald
Are you?
Trump. They're
Well, wait,
public.
wait, wait. I can go with this. Are you any good at hacking?
I've never tried that, and I don't think I would really want to get into that.
Okay, it's could be grounds to incriminate you.
Well, I've already been incriminated by a lot of things. Just
So-
existing is an incrimination.
oh my goodness.
I'm
Okay,
speechless.
let's
I'm
go to
speechless.
Fireman CV. Twitter. You've got a bully on Twitter. No Nerf guns on this one because we can't give the Nerf gun advice. How would you tell our audience to deal with the bully on Twitter?
Well, since it's social media, do I have a gun emoji that I can use?
Oh my goodness. It seems to me that you're obsessed with the Second Amendment.
You think?
I I think so. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Wow.
With social media, it is much more difficult because the way I usually deal with bullies in real life instead of keyboard warriors is I find somebody bigger than me that will take the bully out. On social media, I can't do that. That's the problem. So it's hard to deal with bullies.
Just a minute here. This podcast has gone somewhere. I just hold on. I have to make an announcement. The views expressed by Fireman CV and Cab7 are not necessarily the views expressed by the station 107.7, the Three Amigos. Please don't listen to this advice. If you're pregnant, might be pregnant, could be considering being pregnant, nursing, might be nursing, or just generally think that it's insane to think of dealing with people this way. Okay, now my butt is covered.
We really don't want to know what your butt's covered by, okay?
That's
I
true.
didn't come here to, be interviewed and listen to that.
And I can deal with that. That's true, actually. That is a personal space that actually I think I might actually want to keep to myself. Actually,
You see, I'm listening to your voice right now. You seem like a former blowhoer.
well, I've never exactly. I mean, gotten one. Well, you're not going to talk me into this. I mean, you're going to be a bad influence.
You don't just get one. You
No,
have
you
to,
don't.
you have to own it. You have to
Yes,
be
you
it.
do.
You have to be the hoe that you
Okay.
are.
Well, I got to
Agreed.
admit, I was in Walmart the other day. They did a substantial makeup aisle. I could see, wow, I could roll with this. I could see getting one and maybe like putting makeup on its face or something. But let's not talk about the blow. Okay, forget that. We're trying to talk about toxic people. Do you have any analogies for the people listening? Like, could you think of an example of a toxic person? Maybe I could respond to it. Maybe you could.
I,
We'll go
well,
backwards. I'll give the floor to you, Cab7, and I can
I
whatever
was
you
going to
throw at
say,
me.
I think I think a toxic person is the type of person that goes to Walmart and buys the whole makeup aisle, then puts on a skin diver suit, goes underwater, and applies makeup to a killer whale.
I
That
agree.
that is true. You did talk about the killer whales. Yeah, I can actually see that, but I don't think I could afford the whole makeup aisle. I could go on Craigslist possibly though.
Craigslist doesn't have a makeup aisle.
No, but they might have a whale.
That's true. They might have inflatable whales. That's
Do
true.
they have blow up whales?
Well, I was thinking of a real one, actually.
A real blow-up whale.
A real blow up whale. Did they have them?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's. How about girlfriends, boyfriends, like relationships, toxic relationships? How would you suggest dealing with a toxic relationship? Kind of like the way that our relationship is starting to get on this freaking podcast.
Dealing with it? I dealt with one for over 20 years. You just deal with it. If it's a relationship, you have no choice.
So your advice is just deal with it.
Sure. Unless you want to run.
I could go with that. If you ran though, would it be better to be Nikes or like cheap shoes from Walmart?
No. If I'm going Walmart, I do it with style. I like wearing slippers.
Slippers. Okay. Cab7, I think you wear platform shoes.
No, I went sandalless.
Sandal-less. That would indicate bare feet.
That's exactly right.
So let me understand this. You get in a toxic relationship. I want to make sure that our viewers get this advice properly.
Mhm.
Your advice is not only to walk away, but run away. And Cab7 says run away barefoot.
Yeah, well, you really got to be careful because if you're near a bad neighborhood and there's a lot of broken glass and needles, yeah, you really have to get your eyes checked first before you dart through that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Can you imagine running down the street with needles hanging out of your feet? That really does hurt like a bastard.
Oh, it does, yes.
That okay. Okay. I'm trying to get some practical advice for our viewers here. Well, they're not viewers; they're listeners. They would be.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
We're trying to talk about toxic people, how to deal with them. I don't think there's a single thing that has come out of this podcast yet that they could use.
I think this has been very enlightening for our listeners, and I
How?
think they'll learn a lot from this.
How?
Well, listen, I've always believed that there's no such thing as normal, okay? No one out there is normal, including myself. And I don't mind, running down a grocery aisle with bare feet and taking I'll shoot a dump wherever I want to.
What?
Yeah, why
The
not?
best place, listen, the best place to take a dump in a grocery store, if you have a blowhole, is the frozen department. All you got to do is take the dump and then you scoop it up and you throw it inside the ice cream bin.
Absolutely.
What?
You've never done that?
Listen, it
Hold
prevents
on, but
everyone
just
from
wait a
buying
minute.
that
I want
ice
to
cream.
look. I want to double check the roster here. Just hold on, just a minute. Just hold that thought.
Oh
I'm
my
going to check
God.
with the station manager. Bob. This tonight was about toxic people. Where did you get these guests? Hold on, Bob's what? Okay. All
Bob
right.
paid us good money to be here tonight.
I did find that out that he actually picked you up in the back of McDonald's.
I was trying to make a point here. When you take a dump in the freezer department in any grocery store, you scoop it up, throw it in the ice cream, bin, okay? No one is going to buy that ice cream. They're going to have to drop the price by like 75%, and that's where you get the deal.
Do you
And
realize
trust me,
if someone
blowhole
imitates
blowhole people love that kind of stuff.
do you
They do.
understand the lawsuits associated with this if people start doing this in the ice cream?
If you're that worried about it, you do what I do and you poop in the urinal.
Okay, I could go with that because there is enough room in it. I mean, there is actually enough room to hold a dump. I could go with that.
But you've got to make sure that you remove that wonderful breath mint in the urinal first. Those are tasty.
Oh my
I
goodness.
tried it once, and it does not taste like chicken like everyone claims it to be.
Okay. Okay, guys, the viewers, we might have toxic people here that I'm gonna have to figure out how to deal with. I'm at a loss for words. Okay, all right, let's get different direction. What about a friend that's toxic? You got a friend that's toxic. They're bringing you down. You know you should get rid of them, but they do live streams every day, and they talk about you. What do you do?
Well, I got to say that most of my friends say I have no friends, so it would be kind of hard to answer that question when you have a lot of friends that say you don't have no friends.
Okay,
And I don't have any friends that I know of to speak of.
Wow.
So it's hard to answer that question.
Exactly. That was, you put a roadblock in front of us there, Green Bay Wacky.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so our guests are claiming they have no friends, but I think they do actually. I think they're just I think they're hurting because I just have a feeling I'm gonna go with this. I think they probably did order some dolls at one point.
Oh,
And
God.
tell me if
Oh,
that's okay. It's you can let it out here. It's
is
all
there something wrong with Fireman CV's mic?
I
uh,
think that was a mic malfunction. I don't
That
know.
sounded very moist.
well, it sounded moist. I think okay. I think that you ordered these dolls. I think you've been scarred for life because I think FedEx just it didn't get there. There was no tracking number. Is it possible? Am I right? I mean, tell me if I'm right.
Listen, Green Bay Wacky, I don't know what rock you've been under, but they don't use tracking numbers anymore. Okay? They don't.
No.
That is a conspiracy theory that's been brought up by Mr. Jones himself. There is no tracking numbers. Okay?
Oh, oh,
Alex Jones said there is no tracking numbers.
oh, Alex Jones. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, if
Do you
Alex
think
Jones says there's no tracking numbers, then it has to be true.
because you heard it on the internet, right?
No,
Absolutely.
because we heard it from Alex Jones.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you think Alex Jones is he toxic or not?
Oh, he's a wonderful patriot. I love Alex Jones. Everything he says is the truth.
Everything,
I've got a Buddha doll of Alex Jones that I bow down to every day.
a Buddha doll. Okay.
It's a Buddha Alex Jones doll.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we've done many interviews, this Cab7 and myself.
On this subject, toxic friends.
Yeah, we've never been grilled this much on an interview. I mean, we've done wonderful at these other interviews, but some of these questions that you're
I know.
asking.
The questionnaire, the person that's giving the interview, I've got to say, out of the 416 interviewers that have interviewed us, you've got to be the most unpolite person I've ever met.
What
I
did I
agree.
do? What? Wait a minute. What did I do? It's a podcast.
Well, no, listen,
No,
all you
it's a
had to do was
podcast
say,
about talking about toxic
you're
people.
raising your voice.
You
You're raising
should
your voice.
you should have known that.
You raised your voice when I talked about pooping in an aisle in a grocery store and throwing ice cream back in the bin. You said, wouldn't that cause a lawsuit? It
Well,
was the word lawsuit where we were no longer friends.
Mm-hmm.
I was never friends with you. Bob, the station manager, found you in the back of McDonald's. I found out, and he brought you on here. How much did he pay you? Whatever.
Actually, he didn't pay me anything. He offered me nothing. I was just willing to come in because I needed to warm up my feet.
I did too. I happened to be in the dumpster getting food when Bob approached me and says, "Hey, do you want to be on some kind of podcast thing?" And he offered to buy me a cheeseburger, so I did.
I just thought about it. Do you know what a podcast is?
No, never heard of it.
Actually, I've heard of something like that. It's called a cast pod.
A cast
It's where you
pod.
throw it. Yes, it's where you throw this huge fishing net out into the sea, and all the umma come a swimming to me.
Isn't that tied in with whales? Isn't that what they call a group of
And
whales?
that's what this was all about. It was
Yeah,
about blow hose.
Yeah, that's why we're talking about
Exactly.
whales. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. 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 I'm okay. Let me just take a minute with the viewing audience here. We're talking tonight with our special guests, Friar Tuck and Curly, and they were apparently found at you were dumpster diving and behind McDonald's, and we brought them on to talk about toxic people, and I really want to try to provide a good podcast here to give practical information for you to use in your life.
We bring quality to any interview that we go to.
Oh, our information is definitely quality. I mean, we have been given many awards, especially the
Awards.
Creamery Award. That's where you take a dump in the middle of a grocery aisle, and the manager of the store gives you instantly a Creamery Award.
A Creamery Award.
Yeah.
If you can take a poop,
No, wait. Just
listen,
wait.
listen. No, I got to
No.
share this.
Okay.
If you can take a poop in a grocery aisle in the refrigerated section, and it turns out that it looks like a McDonald's ice cream, it just slowly comes out, and you kind of have to maneuver your butt cheeks. and it looks like a McDonald's or Dairy Queen ice cream on a cone.
Okay, now I'm speechless.
Rich and
I like your way of,
creamy. Yeah.
I'm
no,
speechless.
I do. I like your way of thinking. This is innovative.
Well, that's why we're both, but we're best friends.
Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
just wish
So have you?
when Bob hired us that we would have to work with such amateur interviewers.
Well, wait.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. He's not even an amateur. I don't know what this guy is.
Okay. Okay, I can work with that. I am new to this. Okay, I admit it. Okay, this is my first podcast. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
we were comfortable being at McDonald's, but no, we decided to help Bob out and be here to help you out, to give you the exposure that you need.
Exactly.
Somehow I feel that the exposure you're talking about is going in a different direction the way you've been talking.
Well, Bob told us to be very gentle with you, and he's told us your whole history. And, we could expose you right now if we wanted to. So I would watch what the hell you're saying to us professionals.
Oh,
We got paid good for this.
Yeah, we did.
We are well sought after.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm speechless.
Yeah, well, we're going to own your ass if you don't start asking us, professional questions.
I did
Yes.
ask you professional questions. How do you deal with a bully on Twitter?
There's no need to raise your voice now.
Exactly.
Okay,
Thank
how do you?
you.
Okay, I did. Look, let's get this interview back on track. I asked you, how do you deal with a bully on Twitter? How do you deal with a bully on Facebook? How do you deal with your neighbor, your boyfriend, your relationships? You talked about creaming in the aisle of Walmart. You said you're professionals.
See, now this is what makes you unprofessional. I never, ever stated that I would make a creamery in Walmart. I would never cream in Walmart. Are you kidding? That's my favorite store to shop in. I said a grocery store.
No, look, this is a podcast. I can put it on replay. You said you got a creamery award. Now, you said you're professionals. I would expect that you could give some insight.
A creamery award at a grocery
some
store, not
knowledge
at a
to the
Walmart.
listeners. Something to take away. Something. Am I grasping at straws here?
Well, I think you need to go back to the grassroots of things. You really do.
So grassroots is the way to deal with the toxic people?
Absolutely.
Well,
Yes.
I might be able to work with that. What? Okay, now you sound like professionals. Maybe.
Oh, jeez.
He's just realizing this now.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, maybe I underrated you. I just didn't get into your head exactly. Maybe I just have to approach this from a different.
I think you're the kind of person that likes to take a long walk up a short pier.
I do like to do that. Actually, I have done that.
Right.
I got moist.
Moist
I did.
Moist.
I did. Now wait a minute. Now I'm buying into your lunacy. Wait a minute. Okay.
Welcome to the party.
You that's funny that you say you just bought into lunacy, because that's the name of our sisters, the Lunacy Sisters.
Mhm.
And they have been on about 14,000 interviews. They are very popular.
14,000 interviews.
Yes.
Yeah, but they won't come here.
No, absolutely not.
Well, let me guess. They're professionals. It runs in the family.
Absolutely. It's a family business. Yeah, and when we mentioned Green Bay Wacky, they never heard of you.
I have a
Never.
feeling. I just realized what's going on here. You guys are on the wrong podcast. Okay, I think that you would be well suited for UFOs, fact or fiction, and exploring the inner space of insanity between your mind.
So what do you have against UFOs? They're real.
Yeah, because my
No,
aunt.
I think you'd be a better fit.
Listen. My aunt thinks she is a UFO. She's been in the state hospital for 4 years, and she would prefer to be called a UFO. Okay.
Were you called that when you were a kid?
She says she has one entrance, no exits.
Was that a jab? Of course.
Okay, I could work with this, but we'd have to do another podcast.
Listen, I've been
What about
going
the
to see my
pyramids of
aunt.
Egypt? I mean,
I've been
think
going
they
to
were
see my
aliens?
aunt. I've been going to see my aunt for 4 years now over at the nursing home. And I believe in her being a UFO. But if you come in with a recording of the original Star Trek series, the music, oh my Janet.
You know, I'm liking the direction this is going. I think you guys are professional. I think it was just the wrong podcast. Your aunt is a UFO.
No, not aunt, not aunt. I don't know where you come from, aunt.
Aunt, okay.
Yes.
I think we've got you on the right podcast now. What about the insanity to be explored between your mind? I think you'd be well suited for this.
You should see my aunt. She has the biggest blowhole that you have ever seen.
Oh, so you're saying she's into dolls too?
Dolls
Well-
Is this like a family thing? I mean, is this like, I mean, whales? You know, I'm seeing a tendency to, I'm seeing the same things come across here.
Do you mean to tell me you have something against blowholes? Is that what you're trying to tell us right now?
Well, no,
does.
dolphins need them, otherwise they can't breathe.
Whoa.
It
whoa,
seems like you have a
whoa.
lot against whales and blowholes.
No, I like
Whoa.
mammals. I like mammals.
Did you just say dolphin?
Dolphin, yeah.
I think you did.
No. You never say dolphin in my presence.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with dolphin?
I didn't say dolphin. I said dolphins.
Dolphins. Okay. Is it possible? Okay, I want to make sure. Maybe my manager got it wrong here. Did you escape from Ellsworth Lunatic Asylum? I did see a story on the news the other day that the gates were down for 3 hours. Is it possible that was possibly the two of you?
Cab7 and I do have matching jackets, and they fit real snug, so we can hug ourselves.
We can. But there's one reason why those gates were down, and you don't have the information correct. Now, for anyone that's listening to this podcast, the only reason why those gates were down, they were having a 2-for-1 sale on white jackets, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
And those jackets fit real snug, and they're nice and warm.
So now you might be. I'm thinking. Okay, I can work with this. You might be well suited for a podcast revolving around auctioning off white jackets.
Did you just say jackass?
No,
He did.
I flubbed my line there. I'm
He
not a
was
professional.
insinuating.
I'm not. This is my first podcast.
I think
That
he
was a
called
jab.
you a jackass.
No.
Does Bob know that you're doing this to us? Would Bob approve of the way you're conducting yourself right now in an unprofessional
I don't
manner?
have to take this. This is 107.7.
You forget you work for Bob.
That's right. We pay your salary.
Yes, we do.
How do you pay my salary?
You wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for Bob hiring us right now.
Well, that's true.
That's right.
Okay, I can work with that. Okay.
So a little bit of courtesy would go a long ways on your
Okay.
behalf.
Okay. I think we need to summarize this for the audience. Final thoughts. I think we're gonna final thoughts. We have the wrong podcast for the lunatics that came on tonight. Toxic people, how to deal with them. My thought,
You know, I know somebody that might be offended by that lunatic name.
you know,
I totally agree with that. Someone that's very popular on a YouTube platform, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
something like that. Yeah, I would find that very offensive. I don't like that. It's the proper terminology you should be using.
McJuggernuts you're talking about, right?
Yeah, you better clean up your act right now. Wipe your ass.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This was 107.7.
Bob, next time you need to pay us double for this. If we have to deal with this kind of amateurish stuff.
Actually, I think I'm emotionally scarred for life, and I think there's a good chance part of our viewers are.
Do you
I'm-
realize how much you had just emotionally scarred us?
I think I'm looking forward to the lawsuits that are going to come from this podcast.
I just don't think it's right that you're discriminatory towards blowholes or whales for that matter.
I like whales. They're mammals. I like
Listen,
them.
I tried to keep us on the topic
They're
of blow hose. You started talking about creameries and getting awards for them. I don't know where that came from.
What are you talking? Me. I'm the. Okay. This has been Toxic People, How to Deal with Them in Your Life, 107.7, Three Amigos. Actually, I think I'm going to have to name the radio station something else. I think it's going to have to be 107.7, The Lunatic Asylum. I hope
There he goes with that lunatic again. Son of a bitch.
I hope
He's
that you
going to offend some people.
I hope that you tune in for our next podcast. I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. Thanks for coming to the podcast. Subscribe, smash that like button. It's insanity at Green Bay Wacky. Have a great day.